The cabinet decision on discoms be sustainable, or will power continue to be a big overhang? Government Voices India Inc. and power distribution companies both are unanimous in their call for periodic revision of tariff as one solution to the discom burden. Listen in.
The government's effort to resolve the discom distress is, I think, very timely. And it will certainly, whatever one has learnt of the measures, it is certainly going to create some space in the discoms now by removing some overhang to be able to place order for more power, because at the moment your PLF of the generating stations has come down to almost 60%. So generators are distressed at that end. They want to sell their power. The banks have to recover their money from the sale of power. So it's a circle. And in any case, if this bailout is not there, then the banks would be distressed also by these assets turning to NPAs, or what do they do? Because after all, the banks cannot come and run these distribution companies. Somebody has to run this business. There should be periodic tariff revision. Tariff revisions have started taking place. And I think at the moment the gap is about in the neighborhood of about 70 paise a unit. This gap should not be there. But be that as it may, there is also a limit to which you can go on raising tariff. After all, the consumer has to pay when you want him to pay. So I would say that there should be a far greater focus through a public debate discussion, which is open to the media also, so that people come to know what are the real problems. And we should insist that there can be no sale of even 1 unit of electricity without metering. Nobody can either buy or sell without metering.
There are 3 areas that I feel that needs to be done. The first is the distribution companies themselves need to improve. That means they need to reduce their losses, the theft of electricity has to be removed, and also their availability and reliability of power. So this is something which is, I would say, the governance and administrative issues which the discoms have to do themselves. The second is the issue of very high cost power purchase, which has been entered earlier. Now, many of these power plants had entered into PPAs, which were entered 20 years, 30 years, 40 years back, and they have take or pay obligation. So the challenge is, how do we come out of those PPAs, because they cannot continue to supply on a cost plus scenario, and there has to be a mechanism whereby they need to be where they need to come out of them. The third issue is tariff rationalization, so that the difference between the average cost of supply and the average rate realization needs to be removed, and then only they can become sustainable. There has to be a sustained effort that in next 2 years or next 3 years the tariff will be rationalized in such a way that there is no mismatch between the average cost of supply and the average cost of realization. We also need to ensure that the tariffs are issued on time, and if there is any PPAC, that also has to be given in time every quarter.
This is a very, very critical reform. In fact, the discom sector is the one which is stripping the power sector. We know the status of the state discoms. The total debt, as per the CRISIL report, is 4.4 lakh crores, and all the discoms combined end up losing more than 1 lakh crores a year. Predominantly, the reason for the losses are ineffective tariff setting owing to political reasons, as well as inefficient operations.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll preview Tata Steel and Zipla earnings.